Hello and welcome back for another Star Trek, the official Starships collection review. In front of me I have issue 110, the Springfield class, also known as the USS Chekhov, at least this particular ship. And in front of me you can see the magazine and the model, so we'll put this aside for a moment. It looks so good so far. And let's look at the magazine itself. So you'll notice the really neat image there on the cover. It appears to be from the stern, and with some basic specification information. It is considered Springfield class, like the fictional town of Springfield, at least for the Simpsons, I think, right? I hope I'm not wrong there. Anyway, it is launched, or was launched, in the 24th century, 325 meters long, and apparently this thing can go as fast as warp 9.2. Turn the page and you have the usual table of contents and your stand mounting guide for those of you who are unsure how to do that, and more information about the ship. It is considered a frigate, and its official registry is the USS Chekhov NCC 57302. Again, in the 24th century, 325 meters long, a crew of 430. A lot of people there. Top speed warp 9.2, has phaser emitters and photon torpedoes. And cool image there. Turn the page, and you have another cool image of the ship there. Looks very similar to the Galaxy class, at least in this view. And you have some text about the ship, as seen here. And you got a screenshot from the Best of Both Worlds episode of The Next Generation, where the ship faintly appeared in, and I believe that's the Hulk or the wreck right there. It's so small you can barely make it out on screen. So you turn the page and there's the centerfold page showing you where various components are, etc. There's that screen cap again with the ship very high up in the corner there. And some more trivia here on the sides. And here's a section on all the little unknown ships of Star Trek, at least in the Next Generation era. And this is one of them. And of course we have all the various different ships that have been seen that didn't really have any particular mentions, or you know, they were just kind of floating around in the background for whatever reason. And some more on that. Most of these are ships from the Dominion War / Wolf 359 and transport ships, crashed freighters, etc., etc. And then on this section is, of course, by Rick Sternbach, or a section about him and his 14 years of working on Star Trek as a technical advisor and illustrator. So we have all of that. And more on him and his designs, of course. Looks like the Meg bar and the Dauntless there. And more on that. Got some Cardassian design, DS9, the Ops section. Then you got the looks like one of the ships from Enterprise, I believe. And finally, the on-screen appearance page. This ship has only appeared in the Best of Both Worlds Part 2 as a really small fragment. The model was barely visible on screen, as I mentioned before. And this screenshot here shows a little bit more, but barely, you know, not a whole lot. That's like the secondary hull of a Constitution class refit. And I think that's an Excelsior class right here. Looks like it. And anyway, so the magazine is pretty cool. And next up is the Captain Proton ship, so that ought to be cool. And there's the image of the ship on the back of the magazine. So let's get this out of the way and get to the ship itself. And here it is in the box. Looks pretty cool. Pretty awesome, so let's get it out. Alright, and my first impression of this ship is pretty awesome. Nice, really, really nice. It's a very odd design. The primary saucer section is metal. Of course, this is plastic, secondary hull. This is metal, and then the cells are plastic. You got the clear blue, so you can kind of see through them, so that's always nice when they do that. Got your impulse engines back here. It definitely has some components of a Galaxy class starship mixed in with some shuttlecraft engines, it looks like, for warp nacelle engine design. This is another one of the infamous kit-bashed ships. You know, it looks like you have a Miranda class roll bar here, modified ever so slightly, giving it a secondary hull with a deflector dish, which looks alright. Not too bad. The camera won't focus on it, but it's not too bad. You got your registry NCC 57302, and you can barely make out the ship's registry here as well, below this, and also right there. And our sharp eye will also note the registration on the warp nacelles. Excuse my cough, excuse me. The weather, the air over here is pretty bad due to the fires. Anyway, the warp nacelle has, on this side, also has the registration. And of course, you have your usual Starfleet pendant down here on the bottom of the secondary hull. Not quite as pronounced and clear as previous models, but that's okay. And then of course, the registry on the top of the ship is pretty bold, USS Chekhov. And then the Starfleet pendants are more bold and pronounced here on the top of the nacelles than they were on the bottom here. And of course, your red Bussard collectors are red, and they're plastic, so it's not painted, so that's nice. And I think this is a very cool ship, despite the odd design. It's clearly a kit bash, but that's okay. I'm very grateful that this model is part of the collection. 11 issues in. This is a ship that was seen probably about that big on screen, and the model was never actually seen like this. You know, it was about less than the size of a quarter, and apparently it was just debris, and it flew by the screen so fast, drifted by the screen so fast that you could barely make out what it was. And this is one of the infamous ships that was destroyed at the Battle of Wolf 359, one of the 39 Federation starships destroyed. And now I can confidently say that we have about 4 of these. We have this one, we have the Saratoga, we have the Cheyenne, which came out about a month or so ago, and then I think there's one more. I'm missing another one. Anyway, there's two, I think 1 or 2 more ships from Wolf 359 that we're getting in this collection as well. About 40 issues, maybe 30 or 40 issues away from this collection ending. And so yeah, it's a pretty nice ship. Happy with it, grateful. And of course, it comes with a stand that simply says Springfield class, and the Gaduli goes into place like this, and the ship mounts. Hold on. Well, folks, I accidentally dropped the stand into the oven, so I bent it, and part of it kind of bent a little bit, so now it won't hold the model. But anyway, so that is the model and the magazine for issue 110. And my blooper aside, because I actually got a phone call along with my dropping the stand into the oven, which is kind of off to the right here. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, live long and prosper, be safe out there, be warm, and have a good and happy Merry Christmas and holiday season.